From Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown, this is Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. TicketBash.com, where memories are made affordable and where you'll never pay a service fee. Use the code BASH10 for 10% off your order. Sports Bash is also presented by Ryan Anthony's Heating Service, keeping Long Island warm for over 18 years, serving their customers in Nassau and Suffolk with pride, honesty, and integrity. For more information, visit www.liboilers.com. Sports Bash also brought to you by the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Every customer is considered family at the Embassy Diner. Mention Sports Bash, get a free dessert with your meal. By Bearcat Billing Service, your trusted partner in medical billing. Experience the Bearcat way, personal, professional, and tailored to your needs. Give Gary a call at 516-796-2400 and tell him Sports Bash sent you. By the Marty Lyons Foundation, the official charity of Sports Bash Media, the third annual Evening of Thanks Gala coming up on November 14th at the Bourne Mansion in Oakdale. For more information, go to martylyonsfoundation.org. And by Collaborate Studios, a content marketing production facility. For more info, call them at 516-509-8277. Well, hi again, everyone, and a good Tuesday to everybody. I'm Peter Schwartz. 516-465-3990 is the number to call. Make sure that you are subscribing to the Governor's Comedy Club podcast page on YouTube, and that will allow you to get alerts when we're doing new shows and when other shows on the channel have new episodes as well. It'll also allow you to be able to comment along on the show. If you don't want to call in to the number 516-465-3990, you can always leave a comment on our YouTube page. Later on in the show, I'm going to be joined by Jason Katz, the Chief Commercial Officer for Value Retail and SD Malkin Properties. Last week I had an opportunity to go on a tour of the Belmont Park Village across the street from UBS Arena. I was able to sit down with Jason after the tour, and you'll hear that conversation later in the show. It's a remarkable place, and they just had a soft opening. I'll talk more about it, and you'll hear my interview with Jason. But for those who are going out to Islander games and going to other events at UBS Arena, the Belmont Park Village is up. Stores are opening. I think there's like 7 or 8 stores that are open now. More, they're going to roll out, a few at a time until the whole place opens up completely. But it is absolutely remarkable and beautiful there, and a great place, even if you don't want to go and buy anything. And I know there's been some, chatter about, what kind of stores are going to be there and everything like that. It's a destination. And the first impression I got was, well, you know what? If you get if the game is at 7:30 and you want to get there early and you want to take a nice walk around, you want to get a cup of coffee, you want to just do some window shopping, or if you even want to go into any of the magnificent stores that they have there, it's going to be a great destination, I think, for fans if you're going to an Islanders game or even a concert, and we'll talk more about that later on. Also, yesterday, me and Vinny Laspinuso, we went on a field trip. Just me and him went to Nassau Coliseum for Long Island Nets Media Day, and great thanks to everybody at the Long Island Nets, including their PR director, Patricia Douglas. Great hospitality over there for all the availability with the coaches, the GM, and the players. And WizKid put together a nice little recap of the event, and we're going to get to that in a little bit, and we wish the Long Island Nets the best of luck on the upcoming season. Also, Vinny Tickets from TicketBash.com will check in. We'll talk about the latest ticket news. We'll also check out the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. That's all coming up in a little bit. First, this segment is presented by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage, where every customer is considered family. The Embassy Diner is located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Mention Sports Bash and get a free dessert with your meal. And Gus, the owner of Embassy Diner, was scheduled to join us. An issue came up, and he's not going to be able to make it in, but we do expect, when I told Tony Walker this a few moments ago before we went on the air, his eyes lit up. We're expecting a delivery from the Embassy Diner in just a short time. Usually, by this point on the show, and I've gotten used to this already in the couple of weeks that we've done the show over here, once Tony is comfortable and he knows, all right, I'm underway, everything is good, whether there's a guest up or whatever, I'll glance over at Tony, and he is deep into his sandwich for lunch. It is like death taxes, and Tony is having lunch while the show is underway. It's great. I like it. It's fun. Listen, I put him through some misery on Thursday by making him drink some celery soda, and I watched it back after the fact. I felt bad, Tony. I felt like I almost forced that upon you last week. The celery, but after hearing the conversation on your show the day before, I just thought it was fair at least give it a shot and make that decision whether you liked it or not.
I had no problem with it.
No, you went right to the jug of water right afterward.
Anything for the show.
Right. Well, that's good. And if it makes anybody laugh, that's good. And I know it's an acquired taste, but Tony was a great sport about that. But we do expect, and the Embassy Diner has been a great partner on the show from day one that we went to 5 days a week at the old place. And they came on as a major sponsor of the show, and they've continued that sponsorship as we came here to Governors a couple of weeks ago. And they're right down the block. They're literally right down the block here on Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. The place is fantastic. The food is great. And we're going to have Gus in here at some point because it's a great story what's gone on at the Embassy Diner down the block, because it's been there for years. For years and years and years, and Gus's family owned other diners before he took that over, and now the place is just phenomenal. The food is great. They cleaned it up. They spruced up the place. They put in I always like when you're going out for dinner, like when my family and I are going out for dinner, and we decide where we want to go. Well, almost always the decision comes down to whether there's a TV to watch a game. So whether it's going to a sports bar or a chain restaurant that has TVs, now like the Embassy Diner, like you're not going to miss anything. They got 1 million TVs there now. So we've actually had conversations with Gus and the Embassy Diner. We're going to do at some point. We're still working on it. We're trying to find a date, but it's going to happen. We are going to do a special show one night at the Embassy Diner. We've done a couple of those remote shows from some golf tournaments and things like that. We're working on a night where we're going to do a live show at the Embassy Diner. So you want to stay tuned for that. We want to make sure we get a good guest that's going to come in. I already picked out where we're going to do this because there's one spot in the back of the restaurant where there's a big giant table, and I think that's where we're going to wind up doing the show there. But we're still working on it. We're trying to find a date. We're trying to find the right guest, and then people can come to the diner that night and watch the show in person. The funny part is that people have been texting me and messaging me since we came here 2 weeks ago. I had a buddy of mine like, look, can I come watch the show? Like, are you on stage at Governors? And I'm like, no. There's a podcast radio studio in the back. So people have been asking me, can they come here to watch the show? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, we're kind of new there. We're still on probation. We haven't been given full rights. We can't even use the bathroom yet here because we've only been here for a couple of weeks. So like that, I have to like put all of that in writing for Tony. And when he says it's okay that we can invite a straggler off the street, then we'll be able to do that at some point. So I know there's a few people that have asked me about that, and that's coming. Because we just got here a couple of weeks ago. We could not be happier to be in our new surroundings here at Governors, and there's going to be a lot of great things happening. We have some in-studio guests that are coming up in the coming weeks and months. We've got the Zoom capabilities here now that we're going to be able to have even more great guests that we had at the old show. So that's all coming up soon. Obviously, we ought to talk a little sports. We've had a little fun already here on the first 10 minutes. And as we do this show live on Tuesday, the Yankees are in deep trouble. I mean, obviously, when you think about, a best-of-7 series and being down 3-0, it is very, very difficult to come back. Now, listen, the Yankees know what it's like to have the 3-0 lead and then lose 4 in a row to the Red Sox in the 2004 ALCS. But I think when you look back at that series, and a lot of people have been bringing that up since the Yankees lost, Game 3 last night. Well, the Yankees were on the receiving end of that, in 2004. But it's a completely different story. I mean, that Red Sox team was really, really good. And the fact that the Yankees were even up in that series 3-0, to me, even looking back on it, was remarkable. And the Yankees certainly helped the Red Sox in that series. They stopped hitting. The pitching was terrible. So, I mean, there were a number of reasons why the Yankees blew that series in 2004. Fast forward to now. The Yankees just aren't equipped right now to win, 4 games. I don't know if the Yankees are going to win a game. I mean, I even with the Dodgers throwing a bullpen game tonight, the Yankees have just stopped hitting. And this has been, people are, oh my God, the Yankees, like they're a disgrace, like they can't hit. How does a team get to the World Series? I'm like, why are we surprised about this? If you follow the Yankees all season long, this is just par for the course. And there's been this narrative that has gone on since before the World Series. So the Yankees got to bye to the World Series. The Yankees got to play like minor league teams on their way, and the Orioles fell apart, and that's why the Yankees won the division. And Cleveland wasn't that good, so it shouldn't be a surprise the Yankees had the best record in the American League. And then they beat the Royals, and then they beat the Guardians. The Yankees got to bye to the World Series. Well, I hate to break the news to everybody. You play who's on your schedule. Like that's just the way it works in sports. It doesn't matter who you play. Because you pick up the newspaper the next day or you go on the internet and you look at the standings, it just says wins and losses, W and L. It doesn't say wins against good teams, wins against bad teams, losses. It doesn't work that way in sports. Like you play who's on your schedule. And the Yankees beat up on the American League East, outlasted the Orioles, and then beat the teams that they had to play in the playoffs to get to the World Series. So I don't think the Yankees should be penalized or have to apologize, I think is the better way to say this. I don't think the Yankees should have to apologize for getting to the World Series. Now, they're getting smoked by the Dodgers. They're getting their asses kicked. And you're going to say, well, they only lost game 1 4-3, and then they lost 4-2, and yesterday wound up being 4-2. I mean, it's been a no contest. Aaron Boone has got severely outmanaged by Dave Roberts. The Dodgers starting pitching has been better than the Yankees starting pitching. The Yankees bullpen has been okay. A big reason why they won the first 2 rounds. But the Dodgers bullpen is incredible. And obviously, when you look at how the Yankees' success all season has not necessarily been playing small ball. It's been on the power of the home run. 58 of them by Aaron Judge during the regular season, and obviously he has not done much in the playoffs. He's only got 2 home runs. Giancarlo Stanton has been a big force. Juan Soto's had some big home runs, including the pennant clincher against the Guardians. But everybody else has stopped hitting. The Dodgers are beating the Yankees the way the Yankees beat up on teams during the season, by hitting home runs. And hitting home runs early and getting off to good starts. And that's why the Dodgers are up 3 games to none. They are a better team than the Yankees. I said that coming in. I thought the Dodgers would win the series in 6. And you're not going to find a bigger Yankee fan on the planet than me. I was just being realistic. I wasn't old enough to really understand it, but I remember watching the 1976 World Series with my dad a couple of the games. I at that point, I was only 9. I didn't really grasp the concept of what the Cincinnati Reds were back then, the Big Red Machine. But when you look back on it now, like the Yankees don't have to be embarrassed by losing that series in 4 straight to the Reds, because the Reds were a monster. And at that point, the Yankees were on the cusp of something special. They wound up getting Reggie Jackson before the 77 series, and that team got a little bit older and came together a little bit more, and then they wound up winning the next 2 World Series, obviously, ironically against the Dodgers. But in this case, this Yankee team is a mess. They are a hot mess. And this should not be a surprise based on what we saw during the regular season. Hot and cold streaks. Score 10 runs in one game, and then they'd be lucky to score a run if they played 25 innings the next. And that's how this Yankee offense looks right now. With a couple of exceptions. Stanton's had a good playoff. Gleyber Torres, again, he keeps getting on base. But then they can't bring him home. And Aaron Judge, look, this idea people are floating out on social media the last couple of weeks. What do they need him for if he's not going to hit in the playoffs? And he stinks. Trade him. Whatever. He's not. Look, there's you. He's an all-time great player that just doesn't happen to hit in the playoffs. So you have to have those 58 home runs and you have to have those 130 RBIs to get to the playoffs. Like, you have to get there. It takes a different breed to perform in the playoffs. And remember all the years that Alex Rodriguez was an absolute failure in the postseason. And the Yankees don't win in 2009 without Alex Rodriguez. So it is what it is. And until Aaron Judge performs on the biggest stage, it's still going to be that conversation. But, it's a team effort too. You got, in game 2, the Yankees got it to 4-2 there in the 9th inning, and you have bases loaded, 1 out, and Volpe strikes out, and Trevino pops up, and that's it. So it's a team effort. And this Yankees team is just not that good. Good enough to win the American League and good enough to get to the World Series, but not good enough to beat a team like the Dodgers. And I tweeted this earlier today. I don't know if people saw it. I don't know if Tony saw this. I don't know if my family saw this. Remember, I'm the only Yankee fan in my house. But I tweeted this morning, and you want to call me a wuss, you want to call me soft, you can call me anything you want. Just don't call me late for dinner. I tweeted this morning, thank God the Dodgers beat the Mets. Because if the Mets had beaten the Dodgers, I would still be sitting here right now at 1:18 p.m. on a Tuesday, and the Mets would be up 3 games tonight. Because they're a better team. Better manager, better young players, and the Dodgers beat them up in a few of those games in the NLCS. And the Yankees didn't lose 8-0 and 9-0, or was it 8-2, whatever it was. But at least the Mets won a couple of games, and remember, the Mets swept the Yankees during the regular season. So I just say thank the Lord that the Dodgers beat the Mets. And I say that with all due respect to all Met fans. I just didn't want to have to go through. It's hard enough watching a team get your ass kicked in the World Series by the Dodgers. My life would have been an absolute living hell had this been the Mets. So, and my wife and I were not together in 2000. So that was pre our relationship. So that, we're all good there, because I don't know what that would have been like. And I think I said it when I was a guest on Tony's show a couple of weeks ago. In my life, the Yankees have won 7 World Series. The one that sounds crazy to say, the one that I enjoyed the least was the Subway Series, because there was so much pressure on the Yankees to win that one that it would have been awful if they lost. And that's what I felt coming in. Like, I was literally nervous, like last week. Like, I'm like, I need the Dodgers to win that series, because I don't want the Yankees losing to the Mets in the World Series. I like having that on the Yankees record, that they beat the Mets 4-1 in 2000. And we once had I don't think I've told Tony the story, and I think I may have said the story on WFAN. I definitely wrote an article about it for WFAN.com a number of years ago. So this was, I don't know, my older son, Bradley, was, I don't even think Jared was born, but Bradley was little. Bradley was like, no, but Jared was born. I think Bradley was like 8 years old. Bradley was 8 years old. We went to the Mets coat drive at Citi Field. And if you've been to the Mets coat drive before, like, you go, you drop off a coat, they give you a voucher for like 2 tickets to a game. So we go, and they don't give you a voucher unless you have the person with you. So we had, so Bradley is 8. He goes with us. He takes the coat. They give him the thing. One day at the house, a couple months later, the phone rings. And I answer the phone, and it's someone on the other end goes, "Oh, can I speak to Bradley Schwartz, please?" And I'm like, "This is his father. Can I help you?" So-and-so. I'm just going to make up a name. I don't remember what the guy's name was. "John, for calling from the New York Mets ticket department." I'm like, okay. Yeah, Bradley mentioned that he'd be interested in buying Mets season tickets. And I said, you do realize that Bradley is 8 years old. And he goes, well, he did indicate that he wanted to buy season tickets. And I'm like, no, I don't know if Bradley really did that or not, but like, you're talking to his father and we're not buying Mets season tickets. And he's like, well, I have it right here. I'm like, well, we came to the coat drive, didn't we? Yeah, that's what he got. So he had to fill out a form in order to get the voucher for the tickets. And I said, but if you want to give a spiel, give me a spiel. I'll listen. I said, we go to a lot of Mets games. He goes, oh, now you could tell this guy right off the bat is reading from a script, right? Kind of like I do sometimes here on the show, but I try to go off the cuff as much as I can. And the guy says to me, so, Mr. Schwartz, how long have you been a Mets fan? I said, well, actually, I'm a Yankees fan. And he goes, well, I could see this as a waste of time. I'm like, no. My wife and my kids are Met fans. I'm the only Yankee fan in the house, but we go to a lot of Met games. So tell me, how did you? It must have said, how did you become a Mets fan on the paper? But he changed it. So how long have you been a baseball fan? I'll be like, well, ever since my dad took me to my first game at Yankee Stadium, I've been a big baseball fan. And he starts to giggle a little bit, and then he goes, so what would you say is your favorite moment in Mets history? And then, of course, he threw up the softball. I had to hit the ball out of the ballpark. Tony knows where this is going right now. And I gotta have some fun with this guy. And he goes, so what was your favorite moment in Mets history? And I said, well, it was clearly when Mike Piazza flew out to end the 2000 World Series. And the guy drops the phone and starts laughing hysterically. He goes, Mr. Schwartz, I know this phone call didn't start out the right way, but there's no way ever in my life I'll have a better sales call than this one was. So luckily in 2000, because it could have been ugly in 2000 if my wife and I were together during that World Series. But anyway, we could talk about the Yankees. We could talk about the disaster that is the Jets, and I'm going to get to that. But when we come back here on the program, we're going to talk about the brand new Belmont Park Village that has opened up at UBS Arena on the Belmont Park campus. Jason Katz from Value Retail took me on a tour last week, and we're going to get to that audio interview that I did with him last week. We'll also take your phone calls. Lots to do. Vinny Tickets from Ticket Bash. I'm sure there's some really good deals on tickets for Game 4 tonight, with the series being 3-0, unless maybe the market went up because you got the Dodger fans might want to go see a sweep tonight. We'll see what happens. We'll talk to Vinny about that a little bit later on. Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com, is coming right back right after this. Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage.
At Chiropractic Care Plus, Dr. Anthony Ippolito has been helping Long Islanders recover from pain and injuries since 1993. Whether from auto accidents, work injuries, or everyday aches, they use proven methods to get you back to your best. Chiropractic Care Plus is located at 1 John Street, Suite 150 in Babylon, New York. Call 631-669-6221 to schedule your appointment today.
Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com and Ryan Anthony Heating Company, 516-465-3990. Thank you so much for tuning in here on Governor's Comedy Club podcast. We are broadcasting live on this Tuesday from Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown. Kind of an overcast, misty day. some raindrops, persisting throughout the day, kind of making it a little bit annoying. But then again, after watching the Yankee game last night, a lot of things are annoying to me. And we'll see if the rain holds off for Game 4 tonight between the Yankees and the Dodgers at Yankee Stadium. And we'll see if the Yankees have some fight in them. And I mean, at this point, if you're a Yankee fan like myself, I mean, that's, show a little fight. The Dodgers, are going with a bullpen game tonight. And that's how the Mets got back into the series against them, by beating up on the bullpen. So we'll see if the Yankees can get going. Otherwise, if the Yankees get swept, you have to start asking questions. And again, I'm under the opinion the Yankees don't owe anybody an apology for the way that they got to the World Series. They beat the teams they were supposed to beat. They earned their trip to the World Series. Getting their butts kicked, but they certainly earned their way. They were the best team in the American League all season long. Whether, you want to talk about the competition being horrible, that's fine. But the Yankees were the best team in the American League from day one to right now, and they deserve to be in the World Series. Now, that does not mean that they are shielded from having to make changes. So, to me, if you're Brian Cashman, Aaron Boone has made a bunch of questionable decisions. And I've always been of the opinion that perhaps Aaron Boone's the Yankee manager in name, but if analytics are running the team, he's the poster boy for it. He's the one who's out there every day. So he's got to take responsibility as the manager. I don't think Aaron Boone is a very good manager. And you're going to say, well, Pete, how many divisions has he won with the Yankees? Gets to the playoffs almost every year. Got to the World Series. He's just not a good manager. And again, if it's the analytics department that's making the call, he's got to take the fall for it because he's the manager. And if you're Hal Steinbrenner, I mean, at some point, a general manager's got just so much shelf life. And it's an unfair thing to say because the man's not here. He's passed away. But you know that if George was alive, stuff like this is not tolerated. I know it's a successful season getting to the World Series, but George would never have stood for being embarrassed like this. And listen, Brian Cashman is the architect. Architect's a bad word because when he took over the Yankees in 98, he was assuming Bob Watson's team. But I would call him the architect of the 2009 Yankee World Series team. I think he was the GM in name, 98, 99, 2000, and again, World Series teams in 01 and 03. But a big core of that was put together by Bob Watson. 2009, Brian Cashman's handprints are all over that. But at some point, if you're a Hal Steinbrenner, you have to start thinking maybe something needs to get fixed here. Maybe this team needs a fresh approach. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see and of course, obviously, all eyes will be on Juan Soto after the World Series is over. And that's one more thing, and I'm going to get to our Belmont Park Village segment in just a moment. One last thing on the Yankees, and then I'll shut up at the Yankees because I'm going to get to the Jets in a little bit too. And that I can go on for 2 hours about how bad the Jets suck and how they've ruined my life. But this the Yankees need to make some changes. There's no question about it. One thing they don't need to change is losing Juan Soto. And the narrative that, well, he'll take a hometown discount, to stay with the Yankees. No, he won't. He won't. Juan Soto's not taking a hometown discount. Oh, Juan Soto, he's not going to re-sign with the Yankees because they're getting their butts kicked by the Dodgers. That's not going to happen either. I am telling you right now at 1:30 on this Tuesday, Juan Soto is going to sign, if it's not going to be Shohei Ohtani numbers, maybe it will, but if it's not the richest contract in baseball history, it will be number 2. And he is going to sign with whichever team meets his asking price and his agent Scott Boris's asking price. End of story, period. You could say to me till the cows come home, well, he looked great in pinstripes. He loved being a Yankee. He certainly did. He loved running out to right field and hearing the Yankee bleacher creatures chant his name and sign and blank checks they're holding up and everything like that. It means nothing. Nothing. He's got a World Series ring with the Nationals in 2019. Juan Soto is signing with the team that gives him the most money. And if Hal Steinbrenner comes out and says, we're going to give you X number of dollars over X number of years, and he says, okay, Steve Cohen across town is going to come and say, no, I'm going to give you this. And the Los Angeles Dodgers are going to go up to him and say, no, I'm going to give you this. At the end of the day, if it's $1 more, he's signing with the team that gives him the most money. And quite frankly, at this point of his career, where he is 25, 26 years old, he's earned the right to make the most money or the second most money. I don't know if he's going to outlast Ohtani's money, the crazy money, the Dodgers, all that deferred money down the road. That's where this is going. He's going to sign with the team that gives him the most money. And if Hal Steinbrenner wants the best possible consolation prize of losing, whether it's in 4 or 5 or 6, dare I say 7, whatever. If he wants the consolation prize for losing the World Series, then you sign Soto. And you give him the most money. That's going to be hard to do because the guy across town is loaded. And he just stepped away from, I'm putting my finger up because we just got the delivery from the Embassy Diner.
Oh, is that what
That's what those 2 bags of food are right there. Oh. So we're going to have to, you can come bring that in. This is great. We're getting a food delivery live on the air. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you to every.
There you go.
What's your name?
My name's Cameron.
Cameron, I'm Peter. Welcome to Sports Bash. Thank you so much. Tell Gus we said thank you.
You got it.
Oh, we're going to have to dive into this in a little bit. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Gus is the GOAT. He really is. I don't know what's in there, but let me put this up in front of the, there's 2 of these bags. There's another one right over there too. So you and I are going to have to divide and conquer after the show. I think the Walker and the Schwartz households are going to be well fed today. We're going to have to see what's in there, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so Juan Soto is going to sign with the big. I've lost my train of thought because I saw the food come in. In any event, speaking of food, you go to an Islanders game, you go to a concert at UBS Arena, and one of the first things you think about is, I'm going to get there early. What am I going to do? Well, right now there's really not much to do around UBS Arena. You can go to Belmont Hall before the Islander games and other events. You can go down Hempstead Turnpike where there's restaurants galore up the block. But now there is a brand new destination that has opened up across the street from UBS Arena on the Belmont Park campus. The lot used to be called the South Lot when UBS Arena opened up. They built Belmont Park Garage, and then they took that parking lot and they have built this magnificent place called Belmont Park Village. It's put together by Value Retail, which is the company that Islanders owner Scott Malkin owns, and he has built these type of villages, these retail villages all over the world. There is now one here on Long Island at Belmont Park. It's called Belmont Park Village. Last week, I had the opportunity to get a tour of this new Belmont Park Village. It's beautiful. I took a nice walk through it for an hour. It place looks fantastic. About 7 or 8 stores have opened up and more to come. It's right across the street from the Islanders' home at UBS Arena. And the Village recently, as I mentioned, had its soft opening. And I was able to sit down after the tour with Jason Katz. He is the Chief Commercial Officer for Value Retail and SD Malkin Properties. And here's my conversation with Jason Katz. Just to kind of recap some of the things you said before about the way that the Village was designed and and the attractions that people will have here.
Yeah, absolutely. So we wanted to celebrate the heritage of Belmont Park,
The park was open in 1905 when you had Thomas Edison was there opening day. You had the Wright brothers. You had icons like Jackie O come in the 30s. The arena was designed to really celebrate that classic New York style, the exterior architecture, as well as the interiors, and we wanted to continue that classic New York style here because it was so well received. So as you go on the journey throughout Belmont Park Village, it's really a journey from Manhattan to Montauk, or a lot of people say from Soho to Sag Harbor, and you see references throughout of great Long Island towns, architecture like Oyster Bay and Glen Cove and a number of others that, we really want people to feel proud of.
To that point, the attention to detail in the different areas of the village obviously was very important to Scott and everybody at the company.
Yeah. No, it's literally what we do. It's there is a phrase, retail is detail, and we're absolutely obsessed with it. The company at large focuses on what we call unreasonable hospitality, and we interpret that really as going above and beyond. And to your point, of really making sure every single element is what we say curated, handcrafted, or has this artisanal feel, because we want to create something special. We just don't want to create things at mass. We really want to create this amazing experience for people.
Shopping in 2024 is so different than I grew up in Queens and Forest Hills and schlepping with my mother and my grandmother with bags. It is just an unbelievable change, and I guess it's a change for the good.
Yeah, that's what we're hearing from a lot of the guests who are walking in, and our partners. Of people are saying there's nothing like this in America, and that's really what we want to be able to display and to give that experience. We have 9 villages in Europe which are extremely successful that are based on this model, 2 in Asia which are absolutely beautiful, and now we're bringing it to the US, and the team is so excited.
And you also brought up the dining aspect of coming here, and that's part of the whole experience, that you can actually come here, and whether you shop or you don't, there's still the other experiences of just having a day out here. But obviously food is very important to a lot of
Yes.
people, and I know there was a lot of attention to detail put into that as well.
Yeah, the food is very important. We want to make sure.
I heard chicken nuggets before, and I stopped in my tracks.
Yeah, we want people to stay, the whole day. It's really important. We work with a gentleman named Will Gadara. He was the head of 11 Madison Park. He helps curate our entire food, restaurant, cafe program. And we will have that concept that we were talking about, Frost and Fry from Jeffrey Chartereau. That's the upscale chicken nuggets and gelato. We'll have vegan restaurants. We'll have desserts like macaroons. We'll have classic American brasserie, easy grab and go items that are fresh and delicious. But if you want to just keep shopping, you grab something and get out. And I think what we're doing more and more is that not everything is complete. We really want to hear the feedback from the guest. And we always say in our team, every day is a moment to improve. Mm-hmm. So we're talking to guests, we're talking to the community, and we're listening. And if people have feedback, we have that opportunity and that agility to improve every day.
I think a Stanley Cup parade right through the village will be very nice when the Islanders win, right?
We're here. We're always supporting what's happening across the street, and we love a happy neighbor, and a Stanley Cup parade would be more than welcome.
Well, thanks to Jason Katz, the Chief Commercial Officer for Value Retail and SD Malkin Properties, and also special thanks to Leah Salave, PR and Communications Manager for the Bister Collection, for also being on the tour and for her assistance with the interview. For more information, visit www.belmontparkvillage.com. Again, from my perspective, the place looks great. It's going to be a great place to walk through before a game. It's a great place to go shopping, a great destination. I think there's going to be people and families that are going to use it as a destination, a great experience. And by the way, if you're driving to Belmont Park Village, the Belmont Park Garage is right there. and then there's an entrance into the village right from Belmont Park Garage. If you're coming to Belmont Park Village with the Long Island Railroad, the Elmont station, which people are using now for UBS Arena, will have a shuttle bus that takes you around to the other entrance, and you walk in from the other side. And if you're coming to an event from UBS Arena, you park your car wherever you have a parking pass for, and then you can walk right across the street. You have that tunnel that takes you under Hempstead Turnpike right to where one of the entrances is to Belmont Park Village. So very, very convenient and should be a great success. Looking forward to getting back there when more stores open up and visiting there often with my family. Again, thank you very much to everybody at Belmont Park Village for the tour last week. Still more to come here on Sports Bash. When we come back, TicketBash.com CEO Vinny Tickets is going to join me. We'll see where the market is for tickets for Game 4 tonight of the World Series. We'll talk about some other things. Also, Wizkid Vinny Laspinuso will have a report from yesterday's Long Island Nets Media Day. That's all coming up in just a couple of moments when we come back here on Sports Bash. Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage.
At Chiropractic Care Plus, Dr. Anthony Ippolito has been helping Long Islanders recover from pain and injuries since 1993. Whether from auto accidents, work injuries, or everyday aches, they use proven methods to get you back to your best. Chiropractic Care Plus is located at 1 John Street, Suite 150 in Babylon, New York. Call 631-669-6221 to schedule your appointment today.
Hi, I'm... Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. 516-465-3990 is the number to call, and please make sure that you are subscribing to Gov's Comedy Club podcasts on YouTube so you can comment during the show and also get notifications when there's new shows, not just new editions of Sports Bash, but also when some of the other shows, like you always want to watch Tony's show, Knock 'em Dead Comedy Show, Monday through Friday here on Governor's Comedy Club podcast at 11 o'clock. It's always a riot. Absolutely. He has some great guests, comedians and musicians that come in. So that's one of the great shows. And I'm still learning the other shows on the channel. And obviously Hershey and the Keegs, they do a great show. You want to catch that as well. And we're with you every Tuesday and Thursday from 1 to 2 o'clock. And we'll have some great guests. We have some really good guests coming up. Former Islander Steve Webb, who's doing great work with a charity and a youth sports organization. He's going to be in studio. Again, we're trying to hammer out a day that he's going to come in for the whole hour. We're working on that. Sportscaster Chris Myers has a new book out, and we're going to have him over Zoom in an upcoming episode. So lots to do. Lots to do on... Oh my God, for Clemp, it's the food that's right in front of me. Do you see this delivery we got from Embassy Diner? There's another bag. Where's the other one? Right here. Embassy Diner, one of the great sponsors of Sports Bash, came with lunch today, so we're looking forward to that. We're going to join Vinny Tickets from TicketBash.com in just a couple of moments, but also yesterday, the NBA G League's Long Island Nets held Media Day at Nassau Coliseum. Wizkid Vinny Laspinuso was on hand, and he files this report.
Thanks, Peter. The Long Island Nets are ready for their upcoming season, and here at Nassau Coliseum was their media day. We met with General Manager Matt McDonald and Head Coach Mufam Udofia.
Super excited. I feel like the roster that we put together is a talented roster, and ready for training camp to start tomorrow. There's going to be a lot of competition. Guys working extremely hard to get the season started.
Yeah, like Coach Moose said, very excited. I think it will be an awesome experience for all these guys, just to compete each and every day. And I think from staff, players, I think we're super excited for this year and can't wait to get it going.
Afterwards, we spoke with some of the players, including Nate Pierre-Louis, who I personally asked how he feels about playing in Nassau Coliseum, which has so much of a rich history.
It's nostalgic. You see other pictures coming in before pregame. It's nostalgic. It's a blessing. You should be grateful to play on a great court like this, and it has so much history. I'm big on history. I love. I'm a history buff of the game. So playing on the same court as Julius Erving, a legend in his own right, it's really cool, and I'm really excited to keep on pushing forward and win some home games for us.
We also spoke with Merrick, Long Island native and former Marist star Patrick Gardner, and I personally asked him what's it like to be in front of family and friends playing here.
It means everything to me. I mean, playing in front of my family, it gives me a lot of motivation, and compared to maybe, playing overseas or something. But they follow me wherever I would go. So the fact that I'm here, it doesn't matter if I'm anywhere in the world. They would come follow me and watch my games, and that means everything to me.
That's a wrap on the Long Island Nets Media Day. Don't forget to watch their first game of the season here at Nassau Coliseum against the Maine Celtics on November 8th. For Sports Bash, I'm Vinny Laspinuso. Now back to Peter in the studio.
Thanks, Peter.
Great job by WizKid Vinny Laspinuso at Long Island Nets Media Day yesterday, as you heard in his piece. Their home opener is on November 8th. It's a great night of affordable family sports entertainment at Nassau Coliseum. You can get really great seats for a very, very small amount of money at Long Island Nets games. They're fun. They do a lot of things to entertain the fans during timeouts. I remember there was a game that my family and I went to a few years ago, and great front office at the Long Island Nets. They gave us tickets, and we're literally like, if you ever watch a Knicks game or a Nets game on TV, and you see the celebrity sitting in the front row, and their feet are on the court, and you say, "Wow, I would love to sit at a basketball game just like that." Like, you're right there, the player is inbounding the ball right in front of you, your feet are on the court, and God knows how much those tickets would cost for a Knicks and even a Nets game now. But we had those seats for a Long Island Nets game at Nassau Coliseum a few years ago. And I have to tell you, and I'm not the biggest basketball fan in the world. I like going to games, but obviously, hockey, football, baseball are my three main sports. But I love going to basketball games. But that experience of sitting right on the court, my feet on the court, and the referee is standing right in front of you, and they're inbounding the ball. Literally, the player is standing right next to me and next to my family, and he's inbounding the ball. And here was the coolest thing that night. During a timeout, and the games are televised streaming online, during the timeout, the referee comes over to my younger son, Jared, and says, "Hey, you want to hold the ball during the timeout?" That's pretty cool. So I don't know if those seats if they still do that. That was a few years ago, but I would like to do that again. I would like to go back to another game and sit in that first row. I'd like to, pretend to be Spike Lee for a night. even at a Long Island Nets game, Jack Nicholson is right. That was awesome. And it's just, and they only sell the lower bowl at the Coliseum, so you're really, really close. I think you can get in the door for like $10 for a Long Island Nets game. And it's a wonderful experience, and great job by Wiz. And Wiz is going to be covering some Long Island Nets games for us here on Sports Bash. Phone number to call on the program is 516-465-3990. We're going to go to our good friend Glenn in Flushing. Glenn, welcome to Sports Bash.
Hello.
What's up, Glenn?
Hey, how you doing? Is this Peter?
No, it's Robin Ventura. Who do you think it is?
You know why? Because I didn't hear a thing on my. I thought it was the screener. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Great. I got a couple of questions. First of all, before I get to the Islanders, the Nets. So, are they looking like the Nassau Coliseum? What's the latest? I know you're always in on all the news and what's going on with the possible Sands hotel thing.
Yeah.
And is this a whole year that we can expect the Nets to be playing there?
They're there for the season. Now, beyond the season, I have no idea. I don't think anybody knows really what's going to go on. And I don't know if you know this, but the Nets are going to play, the Long Island Nets, not the Brooklyn Nets, the Long Island Nets.
Right, Long Island Nets.
The Long Island Nets are going to play a handful of home games in Laval, which is just outside of Montreal.
Right.
The
You did
Montreal
mention that,
Canadiens AHL team plays in that arena too. So you take it for what it's worth. Could that mean that at some point, if the Coliseum closes, I would imagine that's where the Long Island Nets, franchise would go, unless maybe they decide to stay and they go play at Hofstra. But right now, I have no idea. I don't think anybody knows. I think it's all very much up in the air. I will say this. I do know that they have booked some other events at the Coliseum. They're going to have a WWE show there in December, Saturday night's main event. I know the Harlem Globetrotters are going to be there on New Year's Eve. I think it's in the afternoon. So there's Nitro Circus is coming there. So they have booked some events there, and they'll have the Long Island Nets, but obviously there's no lacrosse there anymore. I know the new Arena Football 1 League was trying to put a team in the Coliseum, and they're just not sure what's going to happen. And I don't think they want to book anything long-term because they just don't know what the future of the building is going to be.
When is that final decision going to be made? I think it's from the governor, right? Who gets the gaming licenses?
Yeah,
is that the end of 2025?
Yeah, Glenn, I think it's probably a year away. Again, like my information was that they didn't want to book anything long term. And when I say long term, like if a new team wants to go in there, they're not going to book a new professional team for a year and then have to tell them they have to leave. Like, I don't think they want to do that. So they're booking events as they need them. But, I mean, at some point there's going to have to be a decision made. If they go through with this, casino resort, Sands I'm talking about, I just don't know if the Coliseum is going to be in their plans. They have not said definitively what they want to do with it.
Great. And now tonight I'm very excited. My first Islander game of the season. Everything has, I'm going with my son. We have center ice upstairs. And what should I look forward to? Because, I got to show my son I know what I'm talking about. Anders Lee, he's been playing a little bit better than expected.
A little bit. It's not your first game at UBS Arena, right? You've been there before.
No, just this season.
Just this season. You scared me for a second because
No.
Glenn and I went to high school together, and I know that he's this huge Islanders fan. If you're telling me that it was your first game at UBS Arena, we would.
No. Yeah, now that the seasons intersect at this time, I can finally focus on hockey because, of course, we had the Mets.
Yeah.
And
are you,
season there.
By the way, I have to ask this question. I feel obligated to ask it. Are you taking the train there, or are you driving?
We're going to drive, yeah. I got an Emerald parking space.
Okay,
and
good.
Coming from where I live in Queens, it's a little inconvenient, so I'm going to drive.
Yeah, well, I think if you're coming from the city, a lot of people like to take the train, and if you're coming from eastern Long Island, I think a lot of people are taking the train, but if you're coming from Queens, it's probably a little bit easier to drive if you're not near the Long Island Railroad line that's going to take you right into Elma. Yeah. I would say I would like to think, Glenn, that the Islanders will come out with an inspired effort tonight. There's been, and you know this, from blowing the lead against Florida the other night. That was a problem. And then obviously there seems to be, at least some people are reporting it. Patrick Waugh tried to squash this a little bit yesterday, and I did not hear his morning skate availability today. So I don't know what came out of this morning. But there seems to be this little disconnect between Patrick Waugh and President and GM Lou Lamoriello on the roster. Now, Patrick,
I heard that was a rumor, but I wasn't sure. But
if you heard Patrick Waugh's post-game news conference on Saturday night, remember, they did not make him available before the game Saturday, which is against NHL media regulations. Lou Lamoriello spoke about the roster moves instead of Patrick Waugh talking about the team. So after the game Saturday night, Patrick Waugh kind of made some remarks where he was kind of like pointing the finger at Lou, like about Matt Martin getting signed, about bringing Pierre Engvall back up. So there were, but he kind of squashed it yesterday. Maybe it was a little damage control where he said, "Oh, people thinking, I can't speak with a French accent like Patrick Waugh does. If I had the audio, I would play it, but." I don't know why people think there's a problem. Me and Lou are on the same page. There's a couple of roster spots we're really not happy with. So, like, they kind of I'd like to see the Islanders come out of the gates tonight fast and squelch some of the noise and just come away with a solid win tonight to get things back in the right direction.
Yeah, and I'll tell you one last thing, which I'm very, very excited about. This Friday night, we'll end the week. My son and I and my other son will be in Buffalo for the Islanders-Sabres game.
Oh, wow. A little road trip for the Goldstein family.
Yes. First we'll stop in Cortland, get my son, and then we'll go to Duff's, I hope, and or Anchor Bar. We'll see. My cousin lives in Amherst, so it'll be and we're going to be sitting with the Islanders fans at the KeyBank Arena.
We went to rival colleges in Buffalo.
Yes. Yep, I'm going to show them UB as well, hopefully.
Glenn
and Niagara Falls on Saturday.
Glenn went to the University of Buffalo. I went to Buffalo State. So we have that little rivalry after our East Meadow High School days. So, well, listen, you have some buffalo wings for me while you're there.
I will. I'll take a picture. I'll send it to you.
Absolutely. Glenn,
thanks.
thanks.
All right, when's Gus coming on? Next show?
We were supposed to be here today. Some stuff came up. He sent some people over with some food, but we're gonna get Gus in here at some point because he's just awesome. And as soon as the show is over, Tony and I are opening up these bags, and we're going to dive in and see who's taking what home to the rest of the family.
Absolutely. There you go. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You got it, Glenn. Thank you so much.
All right, let's go Islanders.
Yes, let's go Islanders tonight. Take my mind off the Yankees and their Michigas going on with the World Series. It is time now for the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. We post a new poll question every weekday on the Sports Bash Media X/Twitter page. Before I get to today's question, and Tony's going to be angry because I'm going to go a couple of minutes of overtime here. By the way, Vinny Tickets, a little bit of a World Series ticket demand at the last minute. He will join us on Thursday. So ticketbash.com for all your World Series ticket needs. If you like the Yankees and you want to see the funeral tonight, you can get tickets for that. If you don't like the Yankees and you want to see the Dodgers win the World Series, get your tickets. Don't forget, use the code BASH10 for 10% off of your order. I want to go to the question. Now, we're on 2 days a week, so I don't give all of the questions out on the show. But I'm on my phone here, and I am gonna go back to yesterday's question. This was a question I posted yesterday, and I wanted to bring this up just because I never got to the Jets today. Who should be the next full-time Jets head coach? And the four choices I had was Jeff Ulbrich, the current interim head coach. He got 0% of the vote. I had Mike Vrabel, former Titans head coach. He got 56%. He's the winner. Wow. Rex Ryan got 26% of the vote, and other. I'm gonna go off on a minute tangent here for a second because this annoyed the crap out of me on the old show when we did the poll question every day. When I submit a poll question on Twitter, and I give you four choices, and three of the choices are actual choices, and the other one says other and comment below. If I say comment below, that means you should comment below. Right. 18% of you yesterday clicked other, comment below, but you didn't comment on it. So I have Jeff Ulbrich, Mike Vrabel, Rex Ryan, and other. Other is not coaching the Jets. So I need, next time I do a poll question, you need to click to write in the name. So I don't know who people wanted to vote for, but other is not an acceptable choice. It was the choice, but then you had to finish the choice by clicking, by writing in the comment. So that was from yesterday. Here's today's question. And I posted it this morning because I wanted to give an early indication on the show as to how this was going, right off of what Glenn and I were just talking about the Islanders. What should the Islanders do to turn things around this season? And here are your four choices. Fire Lou Lamoriello, fire Patrick Waugh, fire Lamoriello and Waugh, or just status quo. And the winner, well, not if you want to call it a winner, 47% of the people said fire Lou Lamoriello. 38% said status quo, don't do anything. 11% say fire Lamorello and Waugh, and 4% said fire Waugh. I think Islanders ownership is going to stay status quo unless Waugh decides to, walk away. But I don't think anything is going to change, at least for this season. So I think the Islanders are what they are right now, and they're going to try and truck their way through this and find a way back to the Stanley Cup playoffs. I do want to bring up the Jets for just a second, and I know I'm a couple of minutes past where I'm going. Tony says no problem, so I'll take another hour. I'm just kidding. I'm hungry. I want to go home and eat. I want to go home, and I have some errands to run, so I got to go home and eat. What a disaster. And by the way, Joe Beningo did call me the other day apologizing for the no-show last week. He is coming on this Thursday. So we're going to talk more about the Jets and the Mets and the Yankees with him on Thursday's show. The Jets are just a complete embarrassment. And, if I sound like a broken record from my other platforms and from Twitter, and you've heard me on FAN or whatever, and I'm going to leave you guys with this thought for today. When it comes to a professional sports franchise, the success or failure starts at the very top. End of story, period. It starts with the owner and the commitment to win. That's where it starts, at the top, with the owner. You have an owner who hires a president of whatever sport it is. We'll stay with the Jets. The owner hires the president of football operations / general manager. Maybe it's two different people. Maybe it's one person. But you hire the person who's going to run your football operations. You then get out of the way, go to your suite, sip your champagne, eat your caviar, whatever you have in your suite. I'm sure Woody Johnson doesn't have chicken fingers in his suite. I'm sure he has something else. But you stay out of the guy's way and you let that football czar run the show. You let the football operations chief, general manager, whatever you want to call him, hire the head coach. No shotgun weddings. You can't sit a general manager candidate and a head coaching candidate at a table in a 5-star restaurant. Hey, can you guys work together? Is this going to work out? I really like both of you. I'd like to hire you and you, but only if the two of you guys get... And at that point, what are the two guys going to say? No, they can't work together. Of course, they want the job. You hire the GM, and the GM hires the coach, and the coach hires the assistants. And collectively, not the owner, the football operations pick the players, whether you draft them, trade for them, or sign them as free agents. That's how it's supposed to work. Not this mishigas that's been going on in Florham Park for all these years. It's a joke already. And I'm not usually one who screams. I do these shows, and I don't like, I scream very, very infrequently. But this is a topic I scream about because I didn't even watch the game on Sunday. I was so disgusted with the Jets. I took my son Jared to a big sports memorabilia show at Hofstra on Sunday. We got home with 5 minutes to go in the game. We should have stayed at the show a little bit longer. Until that changes, nothing will change with the Jets. And the easy fix is Woody Johnson sells the team, but he doesn't want to sell the team. He doesn't want to do that. So the best case scenario right now for the Jets is for Woody Johnson to have a change in his philosophy, get rid of everybody after the season, and that includes Joe Douglas, because a lot of bad things are on his resume with the Jets. But the one thing, and this is what I'm leaving you with, this narrative that's going on the last couple of days, and it happened again this morning on ESPN Radio, Rex Ryan campaigning to come back as Jets head coach. I don't want any part of that. Been there, done that, got the postcard. He was here for 6 seasons. They went to the AFC Championship game the first 2. The first year he was lucky because the Colts handed him a game when they rested their players, and the Jets got into the playoffs, and they wound up losing to the Colts in the AFC Championship game. The next year, the Jets were not prepared to start that game against the Steelers in the AFC title game, came back, came up short, and then 4 non-playoff seasons. We don't need to go backwards. We need to go forwards. Go out and hire the best GM and let that guy pick the coach. Enough of it's like in My Cousin Vinny, where the juror is on the stand, and I'm sorry, Mona Lisa Vito is on the stand, and she says, "Oh, like if you're driving in Alabama and your wheels are spinning in the mud," whatever that line was. That's what the Jets are. The Jets have been spinning their wheels in the mud for 25 years, longer than that. But I'm under Woody Johnson. So that's where I stand on that. Either sell the team or do things the right way. Coming up on Thursday's show, my guest will be legendary WFAN personality Joe Beningo. We'll give that another wing. Another week. We'll give it another. What's the word I'm looking for?
Another chance.
Another whirl.
Oh,
another whirl. I couldn't think. I couldn't think of the word for a second. Another whirl. We're going to give that another whirl on Thursday. We'll also play Stump the Wiz. We'll have Wiz in here. Submit your best sports trivia questions to Sports Bash Media X, Instagram, and Facebook. If we pick your question, you stump the Wiz, you'll win a great prize. That will do it for this edition of Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. Thanks to Jason Katz from Value Retail. Thanks to WizKid Vinny Laspinuso for his recap of Long Island Nets Media Day. Big thanks to this guy on my right, Tony Walker, everyone here at Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown for their hospitality. Sports Bash presented by TicketBash.com and Ryan Anthony's Heating Service. Sports Bash also sponsored by the Embassy Diner and Bethpage, who brought lunch today. It's right here. We're going to dive into that in just a couple of moments. By Bearcat Billing Service and by the Marty Lyons Foundation and Collaborate Studios. For our entire crew, this is Peter Schwartz saying thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Do I dare say let's go Yankees tonight? I'd like to see a win in the World Series. Maybe just one. I'm doing updates at the Fan tomorrow night. I don't want a funeral, though. So if you're going to lose the series, just lose it tonight so I don't have to report that on the updates tomorrow. We're back here for more Sports Bash on Thursday at 1 o'clock. Talk to you then, everybody. They put in here. Let's just open up. We can probably see.
I'm just, while you're doing it, I'm just working on Zoom here because I want to figure out what the issue is.
Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I hear you.
Okay, I hear you too.
Here, so I'm going to give you this.
Okay.
You get that bag, I get that bag. We'll call the whole thing even.
I'm cool with that, man.
All right.
Excellent. Hang on a second, Frank.
Yep, no problem.
I grabbed my brother to help me just because I'm trying to test the Zoom out, so I want to make sure everything's working. Thank you, pal. And next Tuesday I'm not here, right?
Right. Next week we're doing Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Would you have someone else to do the show Tuesday? Wait, how did I do that?
Did we say that? That's fine. Yeah, Wednesday and Thursday next week. That's totally fine.
Next week I still have Tuesday and Thursday, but should we do it for Wednesday?
When we were first discussing you coming in here, that was one of the dates.
That was one of the dates?
Yeah, next
then
Tuesday.
I must have it on my calendar at home.
Okay.
I got it wrong on here.
Okay.
So I think I did have that for next week.
That's fine.
On my calendar at home, I have it for
Okay.
Wednesday and Thursday.
You got it.
We'll do Wednesday and Thursday next week.
Excellent.
Got to remember to change that on my phone. All righty.
All right.
I will see you on Thursday.
Thank you, pal. Appreciate it.
Oh, I appreciate you.
All right. All right. Sorry about that. You do hear me though, huh?
Oh yeah, I hear you. Everything all right?
Yeah. I mean, well, actually, yeah. Say something.
Hello. 1 2 1 2.
Yeah. All right. So I have audio. For some reason I'm not getting video.
You don't see me?
Well, I see you on Zoom, but on the program that that we use to stream out, I can't get you, and it's weird. It's like there's the thing I have to hit, the drop down menu that allows me to see you isn't working. That's weird. All right, hang on.
You tried zooming somebody on the show just now?
He was supposed to have somebody Zoom. They couldn't do it. So yeah, they didn't make it. So luckily, I was able to. So I got lucky there. All right, hang on a second. I want to try something. Let's see. Do that. Okay, hang on. Oh, all right. Let's see. Okay. So let me see if I did this. What do you see? Just that big shot of me backwards?
No, you're a regular. Your phone.